The biggest tournament in history of Pokemon to this day just took place, and what an electrifying weekend in competitive Pokemon it was, as one of the all-time greats has just clinched a remarkable victory at the prestigious European International Championships, claiming their 5th international title. As the competition went on in a tournament where the stakes were high, the tension palpable, and the competition fierce, many wondered what decks would come out on top in this post-rotation era combined with the release of the brand new Temporal Forces set. But one player managed to rise above the rest, showcasing their skills and strategic brilliance on the table, alongside his amazing deck building with a super consistent Charizard EX Pidgeot EX deck. That player is none other than Reklev, who has been making waves in the Pokemon world with their exceptional gameplay, outstanding deck building, and relentless determination since his first European title with Zoroark GX back in 2017. His deck this time around, and as tends to be the trend with him, was extremely balanced and well built, focusing on consistency by playing every support Pokemon imaginable to help the powerful threat that is Charizard EX. Seems like Pidgeot EX wasn't good enough on its own for Tord, and thus decided to include Bibarel and Cleffa as extra support to ensure he could reliably find resources in the early and late game, regardless of whether he had Pidgeot EX in play or not. Tord went head to head against some of the best Pokemon talents the world has to offer, demonstrating nerves of steel and an uncanny ability to read their opponents like a book. This was especially true in his semi-final match against one of LATAM's best, William Acevedo, where his patience and meticulous play, alongside a little bit of luck, allowed him to make an amazing comeback in Game 2.
The Prime Catcher can limit the Pidgeot EX that's on William's side of the board right now as well. Does need to try and find another disruption card, that Iono that was played by William. Maybe he's got already in hand. Maybe something he doesn't have to worry about.
This is really tough, as you know that if you use a disruption card, your opponent's going to have very few cards in hand, but sometimes they only need one card, right? And in this situation, the maximum belt is the only card William needs. So can you fully rely on just disruption? Do you need to take a knockout on a big attacker? I think you really have to focus on that Pidgeot EX and take it away. But if you knock out the Charizard, then the Pidgeot EX has to both find a Charizard and a maximum belt. So both lines have their feasibilities, and it's now on Tord to decide whether the Prime Catcher needs to be used at this moment.
Yeah, or a Gust, just to maybe take out that little Charmander with 40 HP remaining as well. Still needs an energy on that Charmeleon, maybe.
That's true.
So there's a couple of different directions. You know, it's finding out which direction gives Tord the maximum percentage chance of winning this match here. Do you Gust the Pidgeot EX and then Iono and push your opponent closer potentially to that boss that he did just recover back into the deck, because you then have already an attacker?
Oh wow, just going to be using the Iono straight away, relying on disruption, kept the counter catcher and Prime Catcher in deck.
Giving William only access to one card plus that top deck. If he does take the knockout on the Charizard EX on the active spot here, that's the direction Tord has looked like he's going down. He could always still quick search for a card.
That's true. It was in the hand before, but I guess wanted to see what's on the other side of that Iono. Will be using that Pidgeot EX to get it.
Yeah, grass isn't always greener.
And I guess it also puts the counter catcher back up towards the top of the deck.
Yeah, for sure. So options here right now for Tord. What's that one card in William's hand right now?
Come on, William, show us.
I think Tord's just still deciding which direction to go down. Like I said, it's all about those small percentages. If Tord takes out the Charizard EX, William has access to quick search. Maybe he can play a supporter of some sort to be able to pick up the right pieces alongside a Gust. We're not really too sure. It's only the boss's orders that's available.
I mean, that's it. If that one card William gets, or from the two cards William gets, one of them is a boss's orders, then he would be able to get the knockout with that Charizard EX and goes for the Pidgeot EX, takes the knockout, trusts the disruption. What will William get in this final turn here of our first semi-final? What is it?
Both players praying, it looks like. Cleffa with a free retreater. What is it?
It looks like it wasn't the card needed for William.
Not quite yet. Tord can quick search for the Counter catcher, Cleffa grasping draw there. Counter catcher now still live, of course. Quick search here. Tord smirking to himself. He's found a route, hits boss as well. So many different ways of doing so. Leveling up the series here in the Masters Top 4. 1-1 in this Charizard mirror match.
It was a roller coaster ride of emotions, with each game bringing new twists and turns, but Tord remained unfazed, sticking to their game plan and making calculated moves that left their opponents scrambling to keep up. The final was a nail-biter, with tension mounting with each passing turn. Both players played exceptionally well and made strategic moves that kept putting each other to their limits. His finals opponent, Isaiah Bradner, was struck with bad luck in one of the most crucial moments in his Pokemon career, staring down once again one of the game's best in the finals of an international championship, having gone up against Azul Garcia Grego 2 years prior at NAIC. This time was no different though. With a horrible opening in Game 1, he managed to find an unorthodox win condition trying to deck out Tord, but it seems like Tord's deck building was fateful, as this very peculiar situation was easily solved by a clutch second copy of Professor Turo's scenario.
He isn't to know that he's playing to every out possible. It's back and forth, finally hit a card he's wanted. There it is, Professor Turo's scenario. This is an opportunity now for Tord to now just start wrangling it back into his control, despite having that Bibarel trap for so long.
But the problem is, you bring that Bibarel back up, you then don't have a Bibarel in play to utilize. And so that's where that Roxanne could come in so effective in the next turn. There will be the Charizard to be able to promote to the active and be able to take an attack. But can Tord set up the board in a way that he's protected from these end turns?
Just playing out some of those cards, maybe using that Buddy-Buddy Poffin just to get it out of hand, knowing maybe that Roxanne's coming. He will go down to 1 prize though, and it's only just, that's all he needs to really think about. If he takes this knockout, goes down to 1 prize, all he needs to be able to find one piece of the puzzle to take the final prize, to take Game 1. But Isaiah here, forcing that Bibarel pickup with the Professor Turo's scenario, Roxanne now will impact Tord quite a bit.
So just getting that energy back. I think the only liability on board for Tord is the Jirachi. If that comes into the active, it has a 1 retreat cost. Otherwise, the Charizard can attack, and the Cleffa has a free retreat. So needs that energy back in for the Jirachi. Plays 6 energy in the list, so I think the other one must be prized. Just going to put that Bidoof back down. And now it's on Isaiah. Played for the deck out, and suddenly Tord revealed the Professor Turo's scenario. Now what, Isaiah? What's your plan here? You've tried one thing. What other options do you have?
So it's really tense here. Isaiah I think he's kind of seen the writings on the wall. He tried to slow it down as much as he can, but Tord has taken Game 1 of this EUIC Masters Final.
However, Game 2 was looking much different, until the fateful moment where Isaiah was not able to find the combination of Giratina V-Star alongside a way to bring it forth to take down Tord's Charizard EX and solidify his board position. That crucial miss cost him the game, but at no fault of his own. He executed each move brilliantly until the very last moment.
Perfect timing there, as we need that Ultra Ball for the Giratina V-Star. The Chorus Experiment, huge now to keep going through that deck, thinning out some of those less useful cards. And it's just down to Isaiah whether they Ultra Ball first, which they will be, to try and get that Giratina V-Star, or whether they wait till afterwards. But they are now able to take a knockout if they're able to get the Giratina V-Star into the active spot. And that Chorus Experiment further improving this turn. It just shows you how much dig there is with the flower selecting the concealed cards, and that's exactly why the Radiant Greninja is in here despite no water energy.
I'm hoping everyone here watching on the stream, in this venue, following along as well, does have Counter Catcher in hand, maybe for future turns if necessary. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a playable card, but I believe there may have been 3 Mirage Gates across the game, across the boards that have been utilized already. 1 in the Lost Zone, has been using 1 for this Giratina V on the bench, and then 1 for the previous one. So there's only 1 remaining to just burst energy onto the board state.
Iron Leaves in that Chorus, I think.
And the Super Rod's got to be pretty vital here.
You're going to be getting rid of a Chorus Experiment potentially here. That's when you know you're seeing lots of valuable cards, when you're removing such a powerful supporter. Likely on the future turns wanting to utilize that Roxanne rather than a Chorus Experiment if possible. There we go, Giratina V-Star in play. Star Requiem is possible to use as the lost zone count is above 10. The Charizard EX in the active spot will be knocked out.
Has already lost zone that switch, so giving the tell that there is a way to maneuver out of that comfy in the active spot.
Let's hope so, because I mean, that's the only piece missing, and I haven't quite seen the hand, whether that's possible.
Maybe not, but can wait a turn. I mean, losing one prize here isn't too much of a problem. Getting chip damage on that Giratina V-Star.
We haven't seen an energy attachment, but we have seen a retreat, so. There
we go, there's a psychic energy attached. Quite a big decision here. Now free energy is just a pass over to Tord Reklev.
What Tord Reklev achieved at the European International Championships was nothing short of extraordinary. 5 international titles to his name. His understanding of the game, coupled with impeccable decision making and his ability to adapt to different situations and capitalize on opportunities is truly remarkable and sets him apart from the competition. And let's not forget the mental fortitude required to endure the ups and downs of fatigue and pressure at the biggest tournament in history. It's not just about having a strong hand, it's about maintaining focus and composure, even in the face of adversity, and finding the best course of action to achieve victory. And in the end, it all came down to a few decisive moments that would determine the champion. With nerves of steel and an ironclad resolve, Tord Reklev seized the moment and emerged victorious with his Charizard EX deck.
How powerful a card it was for Tord during the semi-final. That just begins to scratch the surface of how much Roxanne has done in this tournament. So now Isaiah, one last time, will be crossing his fingers for that Roxanne, hoping it does enough. The knockout, 1 prize card remaining each. Can Tord find the knockout this turn off of this draw? Bibarel there, there's an energy.
That's fine, attachment to the Charmander, if he can evolve up, of course.
So many cards in there, you don't want to draw off the Bibarel.
Yeah, you don't want to be putting a card down here because you want to be maybe putting down that Cleffa just to make sure that hand draw is as high as possible.
Lots of outs, things like the Lumineon are an option too.
2 rare candies, I see. Ultra Ball for the Charizard EX as well. Fire Energy to bring that hand down. We'll be seeing a fresh 5. If he just benches that Cleffa and an attachment.
Could have put the Buddy-Buddy Poffin Pokemon down, but doesn't want to because he needs to leave that space for the hand, or whether he wants to leave the space for the Lumineon as well as an option. Lots to think about here for Tord to optimize this end game draw after the Roxanne.
It's great to see both players still enjoying it. I think Isaiah didn't want to be the one to cut it. Didn't want to give up his fates by cutting it here for Tord, as we do see the energy attachment there. The barrel for 5.
Before, I think, left the Cleffa in hand. What have you got here?
Charizard EX in hand. One more piece of the puzzle.
And that's going to be it. The rare candy from the Pidgeot EX will find the evolution needed. Charizard EX, the knockout. Tord Reklev is your European International Champion, 5-time international champion, and the greatest player of the modern era.
From finalists of 2023 to champion of 2024. What a story. Tord Reklev, congratulations. You are the Masters TCG champion.
One can't help but marvel at the sheer dominance displayed by this remarkable Pokemon TCG player. 5 international titles now adorn his name, each victory a testament to their skill, deck building and decision making. But as the dust settles and the curtain closes in London, one can't help but wonder, can Tord make it one better this year at the World Championships and finally win the only accolade missing in his already incredible Pokemon TCG career?
Now, let's give a final cheer for our 2024 Pokemon European International Champions and finalists.